And who are you?
I am the Movieman, and I will deliver your review. Hey everyone, this is D Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And today I'm coming to you all with a review for Death on the Nile, directed by Kenneth Branagh, and starring Gal Gadot, Sophie Okenedo, Letitia Wright, Emma Mackey, Ali Fazal, and Kenneth Branagh, among many others. Story-wise, the film picks up after the events of Murder on the Orient Express, and it is centered once again around famed Belgian detective Hercule Poirot, whose Egyptian vacation goes terribly awry when the glorious honeymoon of a picture-perfect couple is cut short by tragedy, scandal, and what else? Murder. So, I'm going to start with the pros. Naturally, there was a lot to enjoy and appreciate about this film. Now, for starters, this film is the third adaptation of the 1937 novel by Agatha Christie, following the 1978 film in an episode of the television series Agatha Christie's Poirot in 2004. I must say, I have been a Whodunit fan since I was very young. I used to love reading Dr. Quicksolve mini mysteries. They would have all these different cases and all these multiple scenarios for you to figure out, okay, who's lying, what's the flaw in this story, what really happened here, and so on. I would absolutely recommend those. They probably are catered more towards young adults and children, but still overall, they're really, really fun to read. And then as far as Agatha Christie is concerned, I've been a fan of hers since middle school, especially because of the novel And Then There Were None. Please feel free to check out my trailer reaction for more information on that. I go a lot deeper into her legacy, my experience with her novels, and so on. With all that being said, this was a really fun time. I really enjoyed watching this, and I could tell that the audience that I was with was really enjoying it as well. Since you all know I love a good period piece, I appreciated that, much like Murder on the Orient Express, the story was set in the time period of the novel that it was adapted from, in this case, 1937. I loved how the costume design and the production design played into that. Very colorful and very distinctive. I also enjoyed the look of the SS Karnak. I thought that was beautifully made. I enjoyed the entire look of that. I also appreciated the music that was featured, especially with the old school radio / phonograph sounds. I really enjoyed the carefree simplicity of all of that, which really helped immerse me into this film. And naturally, I enjoyed the diversity and variety in the casting. That was something I found to be really fun in Murder on the Orient Express, and it also works here. Although not everyone gets a chance to fully shine, most of the performances are pretty solid. My personal standouts were first Sophie Okenedo. I always enjoy her in pretty much everything she does, and I thought she was so hilarious and so memorable as Salome. I also enjoyed Letitia Wright as Rosalie. Didn't really know what to expect from her or how that character would factor in, but I thought her performance was surprisingly resonant. Lastly, this was my introduction to Emma Mackey, but I can't wait to see more of her. I really enjoyed her performance as Jacqueline, particularly with her facial expressions and a lot of her nonverbals. I felt like even though there were times where she wasn't saying anything, I could still feel the impact of what she was feeling, especially internally. And lastly, of course, I appreciate Kenneth Branagh's performance as Poirot. I mean, the story can't work without him. So I'm grateful for the warmth and the charisma that he brings to this role. I also enjoyed the twists and turns of the story and the constant tension throughout. Although you may have an idea of who done it, I felt that we were given enough to keep us guessing, which is good because it helped keep my attention. All right, now I'm going to jump over to the cons. There were definitely some things here that didn't really click the way I thought it would. Now listen, I realize that filming on an actual boat might pose some challenges, and the same with shooting in a desert location. With that being said, the CGI it was kind of killing me. I don't think it was absolutely horrible, but a lot of it felt very unnecessary. And so did the green screen. And that whole piece is really interesting because initially they were supposed to film in Morocco on location, but then they just decided to film the entire thing at Longcross Studios in Surrey, England. And I do understand that there are certain benefits of shooting in a studio, but I think it lost a lot of the impact by doing that. I personally would have just preferred something that felt a little more grounded and a little more practical as far as the filmmaking was concerned. And I have said time and time again that I can appreciate a good slow burn, character development, story progression. I'm fine with that. But did this film need to be 2 hours and 7 minutes? Absolutely not. As we got into the latter half of the film, I could definitely feel it kind of being bogged down, kind of slogging along to kind of keep the story going. And I really felt that we could have started to close things out a lot earlier than we did. Because by not doing that, it threw the pacing off, which ended up throwing off the momentum of everything that was happening as well. Which left me with something that was really intriguing to start out with, but gradually lost steam as we went along. No pun intended. You know, because they're on a steamer. The steam. All right, moving on. So I'm going to give Death on the Nile a C. This did look pretty promising, how mesmerizing so many of the visuals were and the aesthetics overall, not to mention this really talented star-studded cast that we had. Despite all of that, I think walking away from this film, it was somewhat of a muddled experience. It definitely fell short of expectations and it wasn't everything that I thought it would be, but at the same time, do I regret watching it? No. Overall, I still enjoyed the journey. I still had a really fun time. And given that I am such a fan and someone who appreciates Agatha Christie's work, I will never be mad at seeing more adaptations of her novels. And as I said in my trailer reaction, I am always down for more people getting on board with Agatha Christie, regardless of the medium. Death on the Nile is currently playing in theaters. You guys feel free to check it out, leave your thoughts below, and let me know what you think. So, once again, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you at the movies.